the word entrepreneur, to be a true entrepreneur, to be successful in life and make a good living, find a job and go to work and come home, I get laughed at, I get ridiculed, I get made fun of. Being an entrepreneur in 2025 means that you are up and welcome back to Gallagher's Grip. This is your host, Daniel Gallagher. Once again, recording live from the Gallagher's Grip studio here in the south side of Chicago. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk today about the word entrepreneur. And I want to talk to the folks out there who listen to me and follow me and you know, trust in what I'm saying, because I have a lot of people that I deal with that really don't know what it means to be a true entrepreneur, to be somebody in certainly this day and age who has the ability to pivot and morph into so many different outlets, so many different things, in order to be successful in life and make a good living. It's kind of irritating. You know, the days of the go to college, get a degree, and find a job and go to work and come home, those days seem to be very, very much over, certainly in my world, certainly in the world of an entrepreneur. I get laughed at. I get ridiculed. I have people talk about me behind my back. I get made fun of. I am the biggest joke to some people. It's not even funny, and I welcome it. I welcome it, because being an entrepreneur in 2025 means that you are up at 4:30 in the morning and you're not going to bed till 8 o'clock at night, maybe 9 o'clock, maybe 10 o'clock. Being an entrepreneur in 2025 means that whenever you see an opportunity to make money, you go after that opportunity. You dissect that opportunity. You take a chance and you make that opportunity happen if that opportunity actually is right for you. In my career, I have done so many different things. Again, getting laughed at. Oh, there's Daniel again going down there. Oh, today Daniel's doing this. Today Daniel's doing that. And I know that a lot of people laugh at that. Certainly my inner family laughs at that. Maybe my extended family laughs at that. But you want to know something? I don't give a shit. And you want to know why I don't give a shit? Because I'm up busting my ass every single day as an entrepreneur, growing businesses, getting involved in different businesses, doing business around the world with people who are amazing, successful entrepreneurs who are also like me and also do things to make money. You know, if you're going to just do one thing your entire life, one thing, and get the paycheck and get your deductions and go home and so on and so forth, good luck to you. And I mean good luck to you, because as a man, certainly as a man responsible for taking care of a whole bunch of children, a whole bunch of bills, a whole bunch of household bills, always being asked for money, to get that same paycheck day in and day out, that's a tough life to live. I know that being an entrepreneur is nothing but a full-scale war. It is a full-scale attack on a daily basis. And I have had my moments of doubt. I have had my moments of disgust. I've had my moments of craziness, where you look in the mirror and you say, am I built to do this? Am I built to move forward? Am I built to be able to do and withstand the things that need to be done in order to move this business forward? And sometimes it is so very difficult, ladies and gentlemen. And for those of you who are hearing me right now, the only answer is simple. If you want to be a real entrepreneur, you must have the killer instinct. You must have the fight. You must have the will to continue forward. I don't care how many times somebody laughs at you. I don't care how many times somebody talks about you behind their backs and makes fun of you or calls you this or calls you that. I guarantee you got more talent in your pinky finger than all of those people do in their whole entire lives. If you're the one getting up and trying to make it happen, create deals, make something happen. Make something happen. Create a business. Open up a door. Fight like hell for the benefit of you and your family. That is an entrepreneur, and it takes balls. It takes guts. It takes will. It takes drive. It takes fight on a daily basis, and it drains you and it brings you down. But you want to know something? At the end of the railroad track, there is a stop or a new beginning or a new track to actually go down. And if you put in the effort and you put in the time and you put in the energy and you keep on climbing and you keep on going, you will find that there is a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you something on this topic. I have started many businesses in my career. Many of them have failed. Many of the businesses that I have been involved in and or started failed. You talk to one real successful entrepreneur, and I guarantee you, most all of them will say, well, I've had many companies that have failed. I have had many learning experiences that I've been involved in that have failed. It is the art of growing. It is the art of understanding. You don't get born in this country and automatically get the book on how to become a successful entrepreneur. There isn't a book. Yeah, you could read things in college. You could go to extra classes. You could have your master's degree and all the degrees up on the wall. But you want to know what really sets a real, true, driving, hardcore entrepreneur apart from the rest? Drive. You could take all the degrees in the world and put them where the sun don't shine. Most every single successful entrepreneur that I know doesn't even have a college degree. They are what I call and what we refer to as street smart, street savvy. They learn the game that they're playing. They understand the game that they're playing. They understand psychology. They understand people. They understand the banking side of it. They understand the finance side of it. And they morph themselves into whatever business model is available to them that makes money. Most entrepreneurs I know are involved in 20, 30 separate things. Up, down, left, right. They are involved in more than you could imagine. I have a friend of mine that is involved in auto dealerships to healthcare companies to, manufacturing of motorcycles. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And at the end of the day, this particular person's got revenue coming in from all different, sources, many, many, many different sources. And that's what it takes. But at the end of the day, if you ask me about the word entrepreneur and what goes into that, it is an extreme amount of fight, an extreme amount of will, an extreme amount of pressure. And it is not fun most of the time. It is not fun most of the time. It truly isn't. You know when it isn't fun? When you don't have enough money to pay your employees. You want to know what keeps an entrepreneur up at night? Most entrepreneurs, if they really have employees, the responsibility of actually making sure that company they're involved in earns enough revenue and generates enough revenue to be able to pay every employee that they currently have. You want to talk about stress, ladies and gentlemen? You want to talk about true sleepless nights? I'm not talking about an argument you got into with your husband or your wife or your friend or your mother or your father. You want to experience real, true, full-scale, top of Mount Everest stress. You put yourself in the chair of being responsible for having to make payroll. I promise you that for those of you who have never been in that seat, have no clue what real stress really boils down to. Imagine this. Imagine having a company and imagine having, just say 10, 15 employees. You're the sole responsibility of making sure those employees actually have paychecks that clear the bank. Okay. Yep. You got lines of credit. Yep. You got other sources of revenue. But what if you got other sources where you can pull funds from? But what if you run into a stretch where your receivables are not coming in quick enough? Your lines of credit are maxed. Your sales team are out there trying to open up more opportunities, and you do come to that glitch and that cycle where you truly can't make payroll. Now that is stress, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine telling 10 people who solely rely on you for their paycheck that you cannot pay them this week, next week, or to tell your employees that they have to wait a week or two until you can get some receivables in or clear up a line of credit to be able to pay your people. Being an entrepreneur is the hardest thing to do in the history of mankind. Creating an idea, pushing that idea forward, fighting to have that idea come to fruition, whether you need capital or not, trying to find capital, just trying to find capital, okay, to create a financial buffer to allow you to sit back and breathe. The focus on that idea that you have is shockingly difficult, because when you're in the business day to day, every day you're in the business day in, day out, well, you're not thinking. You don't have time to think. You don't have time to take a step back to say, well, what do I need to do for the next step? Who do I need to hire? Do I even need to hire anybody? What do I need to do to grow my company? If you are running around on a day-to-day basis because you're in the business, you're not thinking about the business. That's a true, genuine statement. And a lot of people fall into that trap because they think working in the business to grow the business is the right thing. And for some people, it works. But for those of you who want to build a real business to be able to potentially sell it one day, it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. You need to have the time to think. You need to have the time to actually strategize and understand the next step. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who look in the mirror and say you've never failed at anything in your life, well, that's just a complete lie. I'm open right here, right now, telling you I have failed at a ton of things that I've done. However, I've also been extremely successful in many things that I have done. And at 44, soon to be 45 years old, I am going stronger than ever before, doing deals all around the world in all different kinds of business sectors. And I tell you this because at the end of the day, when the going gets tough, the tough get going, and that is a real statement. You cannot quit. You cannot find yourself, doubting where you want to be, doubting where you actually saw yourself a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years from that moment that you dreamed about your business idea. You need to get up and dive into the game and do whatever you need to do to make it come true. Fight on a daily basis. Look, you're going to have problems. There's no doubt about it. You may not be able to make payroll. You may not be able to pay vendors. You may not be able to pay this person, that person, rent, electric, ComEd. You may not be able to pay, your internet bills. There might be a lot of things you may not be able to pay. I'm talking about real entrepreneurship. I'm talking about the person who comes up with an idea and actually goes out and makes it happen. I'm not talking about getting a job at a company or becoming a lawyer and working for a law firm. I'm talking about the person who creates jobs. I'm talking about the person who wants to manufacture. I'm talking about the person who wants to build a real organization, whether it be a small business or whether it be a medium-sized or large business. I'm talking about that person who has the the wherewithal, the ideas, the mindset, the power, the fight, the drive, the will to actually create that and move it forward. That's the person that has to be as strong as a rock. That is the person who needs to be able to make the tough phone calls and say, hey, listen, I may not be able to pay you this week. Hey, listen, I'm doing my best. I need you to wait a day or two. Look, I'll say it again. I will say it again. If you have never had that responsibility of making payroll, then you have no idea, in my opinion, what stress really is. Those are the sleepless nights. Those are where the heart palpitations fall within. That is the true definition of stress, in my opinion. It's like nothing you've ever experienced. It's maybe similar to you not being able to pay your bills, not being able to pay your mortgage, not being able to pay your cell phone bill, et cetera, et cetera. But when you get real employees and you actually have to pay your employees as a W-2 and you've got all those taxes associated with that employee, holy moly. Strap on and hang on tight because, again, if you've never been in that spot or that position, you have no clue. And I don't mean this disrespectfully at any level. You just don't know because you don't know. It is one of the toughest things in the world, in my opinion, to be an entrepreneur in any country in the world. The United States of America, you have every opportunity that you could possibly imagine, but don't you dare think for 1 second that it's easy. It is going to be so challenging and so tough for you that you will second guess yourself. You will second guess your ability. You will second guess and say to yourself, can I do this? Is this a mistake? Did I do something that I probably shouldn't have started? Am I in too deep? Look, you can create all the business plans in the world. You can go to all the top schools in the world, and you could have a football field filled with every single piece of paper stating that you passed this and you're qualified for that. You want to know the real truth? What does that really mean? What does that really mean? Okay, it's a piece of paper. The guys and the gals, in my opinion, who get to the finish line are the ones with the street smarts, are the ones that actually have the fight and the will and strength to continue forward and fight to make it happen no matter what. They're the ones that fail and keep on getting up. They're the ones that fail, and the next day they wake up and say, you know what? It didn't work, but I'm going to keep on going. And I'm going to keep on fighting. And I'm going to keep on doing because I know one day it will work. And folks, there's a lot of truth to this. There is a lot of truth to keep on going, and this is not a motivational podcast here. It's just, I have a lot of friends I'm surrounded by and I listen to how they talk and I'm thinking, well, wait a minute, this person has never been in the seat to be able to make sure 20, 30, 100, 200 paychecks have to clear. It's the responsibility is ginormous. It's indescribable. And, it's very easy for somebody to talk. It's very, very easy for somebody to talk and complain and, oh, God, I wish this and I wish that, et cetera, et cetera. It's so easy for somebody to just simply talk. You want to know what's difficult, ladies and gentlemen? What's difficult is to do. To shut your mouth and to actually do it, to get it done, to get it to the next step, to get it to the finish line, to get it positioned where you can actually look at yourself and say, oh my God, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I don't care if you failed 100 times. I don't care if you failed 500 times. I don't care. And the people who look at you and say, oh, he's a failure, she's a failure, they just don't understand what it takes to truly make it. And I'm not just referencing financially. I'm not referencing big bank accounts. I'm referencing the person that actually looks in the mirror when they do make it and say, I didn't quit. I kept on going. The money's the money side of it, okay? The money will always be the money side of it. But for the person who keeps on going and doesn't give up, that's an entrepreneur. Those people are the winners. Those people are the ones that do not quit, and no matter what, will always continue to get to the finish line. And you want to know what's scary about it? Some of those people may never, ever, ever get to the finish line. Some of those people might take their entire lifetime to actually succeed, may not succeed. Some people might die and never reach the potential they feel that they should have reached. But you want to know something? They kept on going. You know, somebody told me like kind hangs out with like kind. And, some of that I believe and some of that I don't believe. But, the reality is that and I just love it when I hear these people talking when I'm out at an event or parties or whatever the case is, and I'm hearing these younger folks talk like that's no big deal. When you are younger, you are a little bit more arrogant. You are a little bit more. You kind of ignore things that go on. And I certainly was a product of that. You think that you could take on the world and so on and so forth. But as you get older in life, you realize just how hard it really is. Just how hard life really is. And, I'm telling you, the thing that keeps me going, as I've said on my other podcasts, are my children. My children keep me going every single day, period, end of story. Without them, holy moly, I don't know what I would be doing or where I would be, right now. But again, if you follow me, you realize that I'm a guy who doesn't quit. You realize that I am a very strong personality, and that's what I have grown into because I really ultimately have no choice. Okay, whether I like that or not, a man really has no choice, and a woman really has no choice. You have got to wake up and fight and get in the game and make the money so you could actually pay your bills and enjoy life. But it's not all about money all the time, is it? I mean, is it all about money? And what bothers me a lot is the amount of work it takes to make a decent living. And you ask yourself sometimes as an entrepreneur, you say, what am I doing this for? Why am I working 80 hours a week, for what? I'm not seeing my kids. I'm not seeing my wife. I'm not seeing my husband. I'm not seeing this. I'm not doing anything that I want to do. I'm not living the life that I want to live. I mentioned in another podcast, I have a friend of mine who actually said, he's the same age as me, close to it. He goes, I don't even know what I like to do anymore. I don't even know what I like to do anymore. And folks, look, that's not life. There has to be a balance. And I think the toughest thing to life is the balance, to be able to balance your personal and your professional life and even time for yourself to be able to rejuvenate as an entrepreneur. You have to take the time for yourself. You have to make sure you could recharge your life, recharge your batteries, recharge, yourself. Because you will get worn down. You will get worn down to the core if you're a real entrepreneur. I'm not talking about the people who, I guess I should say, I'm talking about the people who want to really build something spectacular. And they realize they're up against everything. Everything is up against them. But they don't care. And they keep on going. They don't let anything stop them. They keep on going. They don't let people talking behind their backs bother them. They keep on going. They're the ones that simply keep on going. I used to care. I used to care about what people thought about me so much that it skewed me. It skewed my personality. It changed me as a person, and it really bothered me. And then I remember I was in my early 30s, and I had a big event happen in my life. Not a business event. It was I'll just say it was a family event, and I had something really happen to me, and I got to the point where I actually just said, you know what? Screw it. Screw it. And from that moment on, I made the decision to not allow anything or anybody bother me at any level whatsoever. And when you make that decision where you truly just simply don't care about what other people think of you, guess what? It sets you free. It sets you free. I've been made fun of up and down, left and right. My closest family, my extended family, my friends have laughed at me my whole life. Oh, there he goes again. What is he doing this week? They have no clue. They've got no clue what it takes to get to the finish line. They may say they do. They may pretend they do. They may talk about it. They may read about it, but they don't. There's a huge difference in person. And I'm reaching out to my fan base and my followers to let you know that don't you dare let your friends or your family or anybody for that matter stop you from achieving your goals, your dreams, your hopes, your wishes. And the people that are making fun of you or the people that you know may be talking about you behind your back, do yourself a favor and look at them silently. See where they're really at in their life, okay? I don't compare myself to anybody. I don't care enough to compare myself to anybody. I do this podcast because I want to represent the American people, and I want to talk about what bothers the American citizen every single day. That's why I do this. I love it, and I'm going to continue doing it from here until the last breath that I take. I want my fan base to know that you do not quit under any circumstance. And for those of you who are listening to me as I speak at this moment, all of you who are listening to me, you need to keep moving forward. You need to take the risk. You need to take the chance. If you want to better yourself, if you want to better your life, and you want to actually have your own future in your hands, you need to take the risk. Otherwise, nothing will happen. And you're going to be the person that simply thinks about it. And you're going to be the person that will never, ever know if you can get to the finish line or not. There's a reason why Nike says, just do it. Now, imagine if you did just do it. Imagine if you just said, screw it. I'm going for it, baby. No matter what happens, I'm going for it. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, life is so short on this planet. I'm not trying to get morbid here, but at the end of the life cycle, where do you end up? You either end up in the ground or you either end up in a small little box filled with ashes or an urn filled with ashes. What do you have to lose? You do not have anything to lose. Just yesterday, I feel like I was 15. I'm going to be 45 years old here in a couple of weeks. All of a sudden, I've got an 11-year-old. All of a sudden, I left a graduation this morning where my daughter is now going into kindergarten. It goes by so quick. Don't second guess yourself anymore. Do it for yourself. Do it for your family if you have one. And make your dreams come true.